Jeff is a former National Football League quarterback. After attending high school and junior college in Gilroy, California, he played college football at San Jose State University. Jeff began his professional football career with the Calgary Stampeders of the Canadian Football League. He was a four-time CFL All-Star. In 1999, Jeff debuted in the National Football League with the San Francisco 49ers. While with the 49ers, Jeff earned 3 consecutive Pro Bowl appearances in 2000, 2001, and 2002, and led the team to the playoffs in 2001 and 2002 seasons. In 2006, Jeff took over the Philadelphia Eagles, leading them to the NFC East Division Title and second round of the playoffs. Today, Jeff's passion is his family and philanthropy efforts through several programs and organizations he has spearheaded. Jeff's Eyes Up Foundation is a nonprofit that aims to help economically challenged communities and to help provide resources to them. His journey to the NFL and path to success were filled with twists and turns. We are honored to have Jeff share his inspiring story with us today. Please welcome Gilroy's own NFL Hall of Fame nominee, Jeff Garcia.
Good afternoon. How's everybody doing? I have a flight in less than an hour, so that being said, thank you very much, Leadership Gilroy, Mike, for having me out here today, being back home, family in the building, and some familiar faces here. A lot of familiarity in the stories that have been shared with you already. And, my life, my journey, my one of one has been a unique experience. And it's been one of challenges. It's been one of adversity. It's been one of glory. There have been so many different emotions, so many different details that have gone into what has made me who I am today. Growing up right here in Gilroy, being born like Greg at Wheeler Hospital, I was the better looking bald-headed one that was born back then. No. Something about growing up in Gilroy, I think you just lose your hair. I don't know what it is. But it's something in the water, I think. That being said, family well-rooted here in Gilroy. My grandfather, Maurice Red Elder, was a high school football coach right here at Gilroy High. Waited to retire until I got through to take his driver's ed class when I was a sophomore. Too many tickets later and bumper fender benders. I don't know if I was listening very well in his class. No, that being said, fortunate to have my grandfather as a teacher, as an instructor here at Gilroy High School. My mom, cheerleader at Gilroy High, went on to Gavilan Junior College, where she started dating my dad right here at the JC. And my dad, longtime football coach and figure here in the community that has been a leader and a representative of what is right in people. I've been so very blessed to have the love and support of a great family, but it didn't come easy. Didn't come easy at all. A lot of experiences and some very key experiences in my early childhood really carved the person that I became in so many ways. Like Bobby, no, I didn't have a Jerry curl, but I was a red-headed, freckle-faced kid. Those are pretty unique traits. I think they're one of the most rare traits in a person is being a redhead, freckle-faced kid. And so I felt awkward always. I was a skinny dude. I just didn't feel like I looked like anybody else. I'm like, why did I get stuck with the red hair and the freckle face? Man, I had a good-looking brother who was brown hair, blue eyes. I was like, how come he got that? Anyways, my way of fitting in was just really through sports. Like Bobby mentioned, through sports. Being out there playing baseball, playing soccer, playing football, playing basketball, whatever was in season, I was taking part in it. And that was kind of how I assimilated. I was kind of shy. I was kind of unsure of myself. Didn't really know how to really fit in or coming out of that shell until I stepped in the arena. the arenas where I became confident and felt good about myself and felt like I could compete and blend in and be accepted. More than anything, be accepted. And, in that early childhood, going through those type of experiences, we unfortunately as a family experienced some tragedy, some tragic situations in our life. And what, like Jalen went through, being challenged by death, seeing death nearly on a daily basis creep into his life and their family and what they had to deal with in going through that. Having a young son whose dad felt hopeless or helpless in how he could step in and really take the bullet for his son and be the one who could take the pain away in that sort of way. Well, my family went through a little bit different experience, and hopefully Jalen's journey continues to be a positive outcome as he battles through it. I lost my brother I was 7, my brother was 6 years old. We had gone away on a little camping trip, Memorial Day weekend, up in the mountains, Mammoth Lakes, families, kids, friends, and we're down the river fishing, and next thing you know, my brother disappears. He's a year and 11 days younger than me. I was supposed to be looking out for him. There were older boys supposed to be looking out for us, and next thing you know, he disappears on us, falls into the river, and we don't see him again until we find him later. A year and 2 months later, I lose my 5-year-old sister in another tragic accident. So within a year, within 14 months, my parents, my family loses 2 kids, 2 children. And now that I'm a dad of 4 kids now, and it's the best thing in my life. It's the best thing in my life. More than anything that I ever did on a football field, my experiences with my kids and being a dad is the best thing. The love that I have for my children, you don't know that love until you actually have children yourself. And to understand and to see what my family had to go through, what my mom had to go through, what she had to endure through that time, what she still deals with today, what my dad went through, maybe some of the personal blame that he felt upon himself for certain things that really were out of his control. But as a dad, you're going to take responsibility, and that's who my dad is. And what that did for me as a child, and I listened to Jalen and the questions about God. Why me? Well, why us? Why us? Why are we being challenged in this way in our life? Why are these things being taken from us? The innocence of 2 children now gone. My best friends now gone. How am I going to respond to that? There's 2 paths. There's 2 flips of the coin. There's 2 paths. There's one of finding the direction that you need to go in, and there's the other that gets lost and goes off into oblivion. And I had 2 choices. And really at that time in my life, as an 8-year-old, I'm talking 8 years old, I'm not going to therapy, I'm not getting counseling. Nobody's taken me aside to talk to me about what I just experienced as a brother to my brother, as a brother to my sister. How am I going to deal with that? And really at that time of my life, my main want in life was to not see my parents disappointed any more than what they had already gone through. And if that meant being a better student, if that meant being a better kid, being a better brother to my young sisters that were born, being a decent athlete, I guess, was part of it. But you know what? Being involved in things that were going to be positive, be uplifting, be motivated to do good things in life, to be a good person. To be a good person. At the end of the day, be a good person. Like, help put a smile on my parents' face, because, man, there were a lot of sad days. A lot of sad days. And for me, that became what I represented as a person at a young age. At a young age, hey, I wanted to just see my parents smile. And a lot of that came through sports, through my involvement in sports, Little League baseball, basketball through the community. Pop Warner football was PAL back then. The Police Athletic League was here in Gilroy that I played for, but Pop Warner football. My dad was fortunate enough to be able to be there to coach me. My mom was always there as a team mom, being very involved. And I think through sports, through my activities, through my involvement, it really created or forced them to be in a place of support toward me. And I think they enjoyed that. I think they found peace in that. I think they found relationships in that just through the kids' parents that I played with and the support that they got through them. But the experiences that we were able to share in, going into Little League championship games, going into Pop Warner championship games, hey, rising to the top in different ways. And what does it mean to really climb to the top of the mountain? And that's what I feel in so many ways. I've become more than just the quarterback of an NFL team. I've become a mountain climber. You know, it's one step at a time. No step's going to be easy, but you got to be willing to take that step. You got to be willing to put in the work, the dedication, the effort. When I coach my kids now, my 11-year-old, he's just turned 12, I coach his 11U Pop Warner team. And like you losing your first game, just last night, we lost our first game 2 weeks ago. And man, I was upset. I was pissed off. I wasn't pissed because we lost. I was pissed because of the effort. The effort was not there. And if there's anything that exemplifies me, it's effort. And to see my kids just show up, maybe they were overconfident. Maybe they thought, hey, we got this. We're undefeated. We're the best team in San Diego County. Hey, we were coming off a championship last season. Nobody could touch us. Maybe there was a bit of that, but once they got punched in the mouth and they didn't fight back, that's what bothered me. That's what bothered me. And I talked to them about it. Oh boy, did I talk to them about it. And they probably got spit on and all kinds of stuff because I was fired up with these 11 and 12-year-olds. I was fired up. But you know what? It's about teaching lessons in life, that you can't just show up and go through the motions. You got to be prepared and you got to be ready to strike. You know, one of the things that people have talked to me about in my life, in my past, when they talk about me and when they introduce me to a group of people, maybe I'm going to speak or whatever the situation may be, and they say, well, what does Jeff remind you of? What does he exemplify? And a lot of my teammates from the past will say he's opportunistic, meaning that when the opportunity presented itself, he was ready to strike. And you can't just show up and think you're going to strike and take advantage of an opportunity. You got to prepare for the opportunity. Mentally, especially, prepare for the opportunity. And that was one of the things that I feel like throughout my life, I was always preparing for the opportunity. And when it presented itself, I was ready to strike. And that's one thing with these young kids, with these young boys, as we're trying to raise them and develop them into being good young men, is to be opportunistic. But know that you have to prepare for that opportunity. You have to put in the commitment. You have to have the drive. You have to have the work ethic. You have to have the dedication. I was fortunate enough to grow up around a dad who was so dedicated to bring out the best in people. I had the love and support of my mom. She was my Uber back when Uber wasn't around. Now I know what Uber is. I'm like, Dad, Uber, here we come. So mom was there for everything and anything that I was involved in. And dad was there as really a leader, as someone who could guide and direct, inspire, motivate. I tell you what, there was something that I saw just yesterday, and I had reposted it. And it was every coach had a coach that inspired them to be a coach. Every coach had a coach that inspired them to be a coach. And I'm sure Greg had a coach that inspired him. I'm sure Bobby had a coach that inspired him. Man, I had one of the best coaches ever. And I saw him every day of my life. And I will put him up against any NFL coach, Hall of Fame coach, whatever, because what he instilled in me and what he instilled in our team was a belief in ourselves, that we could be bigger and better than what we even thought we could bring out of ourselves. But he got us to believe in ourselves, to be that person that can rise and raise the bar above any other bar that was being placed upon us. And I heard it all the time throughout my life. He's not the biggest guy. He's not the fastest guy. Doesn't have the strongest arm. Man, did I love to hear that sort of stuff. I loved it. Because you know what? Today's kids, I'm sad to say, there's a lot of softness going on in the world. I'm just being honest with you. I'm just being honest with you. And you know what? You can't allow what people say to discourage you. And what I tell my kids is, hey, don't be discouraged. Get encouraged. Be encouraged that you have the control within yourself to change the outcome. And that would light a fire in my belly to just want to prove people wrong. And I don't know what it was. Maybe it was a mental toughness that I developed at a young age. Maybe it was growing up around my dad and seeing him coach and inspire right here. Mom would drop me off at the grass field at the south side of this campus, and we'd be running around grabbing the footballs and throwing them around, and I was the ball boy. But I looked up to these 18, 19, 20-year-old kids. It's too bad that we don't have the Gav-Ram football team in here right now listening to this, because you know what? It meant something to me to be around these young men that were just being molded, that were just being cultured, that were just being mentored and instructed as to how to be not just a better football player, but to be a better person. To be one who understands what it takes to not just survive, but to thrive. To create a different outcome. Are we a victim or are we a warrior? Victims have excuses for everything. Don't be a victim. Be a winner in the sense that knowing that there's going to be difficulty going through whatever you're trying to accomplish, but there's a will and there's a way. And it starts with building a foundation. You have to really build a foundation beneath yourself as to your beliefs, as to your accountability, as to your dedication, as to your passion, your motivation. I mean, we could keep going with all the words that exemplify being a champion, but deep down it comes from within you. You know, I was fortunate to obviously play at the highest of level. Came out of high school. If Greg was in high school with me, nobody would have ever thought I would have been an NFL player. Hell, I didn't even think about it. I know I wrote an autobiography in fourth grade. I'm going to be an NFL quarterback at 10 years old. Wow, did that come true? I should have put some money on it. Shoot. But no, nobody would have ever thought. I wasn't highly recruited. I wasn't even recruited. I went to the high school all-star game. I ended up playing free safety. I didn't even play quarterback in the all-star game. And I knew that I was going to probably go play for my dad and see what happens after 1 year being at Gavilan Junior College. Well, one thing led to another. And one of the things that I tell my kids today is, because I hear it all the time, Dad, so you were an NFL quarterback. What team do you think I'm going to play for? And I'm like, well, are you one of 320 million or whatever 8 billion divided by 32 is? You know, I mean, hey, the odds are stacked against you, buddy, but how about being the best you can be today? How about being the best you that you can be today? Because that's what you have an opportunity to do right now, is to be a better you. And how are you going to bring that out? How are you going to do that for yourself? And for me, it really was about challenging myself each and every day to be a better me. When I went to Gavilan, hey, I want to be the best quarterback on the field that I can be right now in this time. I want to be a better leader. I want to exemplify all that it means to be a leader. And that doesn't mean by, hey, I can talk the talk. No, I got to walk it. Hey, I got to be first in conditioning. I got to be on the field working on my craft. I have to inspire through my own challenging myself, pushing myself. When you start doing those things and everything starts to fall into place, people just naturally start to follow your lead. People want to be like you because they see that you're doing the right things in life, that you're finding ways to get to the top of that mountain. You know, going through my journey, playing at San Jose State, being able to stay local, doing the things that I did there, and then getting on to, you know, not the NFL. The NFL wasn't interested in me. They weren't interested. Again, he's not big enough. He's not tall enough. He's not this. Shoot, today it might be a different story. I mean, I might just fit the exact bill of what they want today, but I was 20 years too soon. Darn it, Mom. Should have waited. But no, hey, it didn't matter. It didn't matter because you know what? I was still able to do what I love to do, going to Canada, being able to play football in the Canadian Football League with the Calgary Stampeders, learn from a guy like Doug Flutie, who was Mr. Everything up there in Canada, former Heisman Trophy winner, who got told many times that he wasn't big enough, wasn't this, wasn't that. But he found a way to succeed. He did it at a high level. I was able to watch that. And then when the opportunity presented itself, my second season in Canada, I'm the backup quarterback. Heck, the first year I was the third string quarterback with not even a chance to get on the field. So I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm waiting for my time, but I'm not just sitting there waiting, I'm prepping every day. I'm preparing myself mentally, physically, because that moment can happen. We can't control when the moments happen. All we can control is, are we ready when that moment happens? And that moment happened midway through my second season in Canada. Hey, Doug goes down with an injury. It's my time. It's my time. I step on the field. My first game is on the road. We go out to Birmingham, which at the time the Canadian Football League had expanded into the States, so there were a handful of teams in the States. We go to Birmingham, my first game on the road, I throw for 400 plus and 2 touchdowns. We win that game going away. I come home, we're in the Labor Day Classic, the big rivalry game against the Edmonton Eskimos. I know all these names don't mean anything to you guys. You're like, Eskimos, well, they're way up north, of course. Snow everywhere. We play the Edmonton Eskimos in the Labor Day Classic. It's a Monday game in Calgary. 4 days later, we play the same team in Edmonton. It's a back-to-back header. It's weird, but that's what it was. Monday and then Friday. Well, I fly my dad up. My dad comes up. He's going to see our first game at home. And I had a decent game. I think I threw for, what was it, Dad? 500 and something yards and 6 touchdowns. This is my first game in front of the fans at home. They're like, who's this redheaded kid? Who's this redheaded guy from, where's he, San Jose? Where's he from? San Jose? Where's San Jose? I mean, shoot, Garcia, he doesn't look Mexican. Guy's not, I mean, it's redhead, freckle face. What kind of Mexican is he? Shoot, I'm like, where are the tacos at? Dad's doing the tacos in the tailgate up in the parking lot. Hey, no, I light the world on fire. They're all of a sudden like, oh, Garcia, we don't need this Flutie anymore. This guy's something special. Well, I end up taking over that year for most of the season. I go 8-1 as a starter and help lead the team to the Grey Cup. Doug did come back for the end of the season and played in the Grey Cup game. But that being said, again, that window of opportunity. There aren't going to be a lot of windows that present themselves in your life. But when that window starts to crack open, are you ready to blow it open? When that door starts to crack open, are you ready to blow it open? That opportunity, taking advantage of it. That being said, those 3.5 seasons of starting, even though I thought, well, the NFL just may never happen for me. I'm going to make the most here. We win a championship in my last season, which turns out to be my last season, 1998, which then opened the door into the NFL. And part of that opening into the NFL was my relationship with Bill Walsh, a guy that at the time I was playing at San Jose State was coaching at Stanford. We played against each other. He loved how I played the game, reminded him of some of his former quarterbacks from the Niners in some ways, and a relationship developed there that really turned out to be beneficial to me. And relationships and networking, as you all know, being in business, are so important. So important. Getting to know people, tapping into relationships, tapping into learning from others, growing from others. And fortunately for me, Bill Walsh opened that door for the San Francisco 49ers. Gave me the opportunity to fulfill a childhood dream. Growing up a Niner fan or a Bay Area fan of sports, watching Joe Montana, idolizing number 16 out there on the field, wanting to be like Joe, all of a sudden, it was my opportunity to be there. It didn't happen overnight, didn't come easy, had to work for it, had to grind for it, had to dedicate myself in so many ways to be prepared for it. But when it presented itself, again, are you ready or are you not? You can't live life with regrets. You can't let life pass you by. Life is precious, and if there's one thing that I learned as a young kid going through what we went through as a family, I realized and learned that life is very precious. And that you have to be ready and wanting and willing to take advantage of what life offers, and also to create your own path, to build on that. And for me, playing for the 49ers and playing in the NFL, absolutely, dream come true. Just got announced, and I think it's the 4th year running, but you know, small, undersized, redheaded, freckle-faced Mexican from Gilroy on the Hall of Fame ballot. You know? Thank you. And whether I get it or not, it's an honor. It's an honor to be recognized amongst the elite of the elite. You don't get recognized unless you are one of those elite. And to be recognized in that sort of way just shows that hard work, that dedication, that perseverance, that leadership ability, the ability to raise the level of the people around you, right? It's not just raising your level, it's the ability to raise the level of the people around you. That's what great leaders do. It's what great leaders do, and I thrived in that position. I thrived in wanting to show that I was better than what people thought I could be, that I was gonna rise to the level and beyond of expectation. I was gonna battle through the adversity, the tough times, the difficult times. I was going to meet it head on. I was not gonna fear it. I was not gonna run away from it. I was gonna battle through it. I may not always win, but I'm gonna learn my lesson as I go through it. I'm gonna rebound. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come back at you stronger. And that's life. Football, what I experience, is life. And that's the great thing about sports. And maybe not everybody here has had that opportunity, but you can look at your lessons in life and how to learn from, grow from, and apply it into being better moving forward. I've been fortunate to not just be an athlete on a big stage, but to utilize that in giving back through my foundations, to be able to touch other people's lives, to be able to inspire, to be able to give opportunity to those who haven't had the opportunity. And for me, that's a blessing. That's winning in life. To be able to give back and to be in a position to where you're encouraging, you're motivating, you're giving opportunity, you're inspiring, especially the youth, to expect more out of themselves, to be better themselves, to let them know that you can have a dream and you can live that dream. I'm an example of it. I had a dream and I lived that dream, but I also know what it took to fulfill that dream. And there were a lot of things that had to come into place, that had to fall into place. And there had to be a drive and a motivation behind me to want to continue to battle through the adversity, the struggle, the pain, the barriers, learn and grow, improve every day, expect more out of myself, look in the mirror. Before I can look at anybody else, I need to look in the mirror. Am I being the person that I need to be? Is there better that can come out of me? Is there more that can come out of me? And I feel like if you take those lessons and apply them in your own life, continuing to grow educationally, continuing to grow spiritually, continuing to take care of yourself, as Bobby said, the physical side of what you do for yourself and how that just creates a different mindset. You know, it's important. Mental health and physical health, they go hand in hand. Got to take care of yourselves. And fortunately for me, sitting here at 52 years old, having 4 young ones that are battling and thriving and growing and being able to be on that journey with them, I have a lot of lessons that I can teach. They don't always want to hear it from me, but I have a lot that I can share with them. And I'm fortunate to be in that place because of the guidance and the knowledge and the love that I had from my parents. And it's all about love. It really is. We have a choice to be happy or to be sad. And you know what? I know there are different mental health things that everybody has been challenged with in their own lives. And it's a serious situation. Get your help. But if you have a choice, really lean toward putting a smile on someone's face. It's contagious. Your smile is contagious. Being a positive person is contagious. All those things help lead us in the right direction. I just want to thank you for my time, for your time coming out here and allowing me to share a little bit of my story. I think I'm going to miss a flight, but you know what? It's worth it. And thank you so much for being here. Have a great day.